Okay. And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement if they're watching and you guys would like to come back here. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
Most people are not willing to work. Most people are not willing to work hard, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. I'm not judging you if you don't want to work hard. Just fuck you if you're going to complain about it. That's what I have a problem with. That's the lazy, ambitious group, and they're scary as hell. They want everything, but they're not willing to work for anything, right? Because they'll do things that'll destroy the golden goose to try to get what they want now. So it's okay if you don't want to work hard. I'm totally okay with that. Hey, you want to go fucking live on the beach and live off the land and fucking pedal to get shit? Great. That could be your lifetime. That's what you want to do. There is zero judgment in my heart. Just don't ask the world to change to fit your fucking lifestyle.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Happy Saturday evening. I wasn't going to be here. Remember, I did a whole little 8-minute video saying how Bullhorn Betty's not doing a live this evening. What am I here for? I don't know. Well, it's because I take care of my own schedule. I made a mistake, okay? At least I made it to the baby shower, right? At least I didn't forget about the family. But apparently the political dinner that I paid for was on Monday. Just a few days late. Just a little fashionably late type of problems. That's all. Thank goodness I decided to come here to freshen up first, right? And so I just I want to make sure I got the address, because it's a little ways. It's Tampa. It's like an hour or so away from my home. So I'm like, okay, I know it's at this particular place. Let me go ahead and just check and make sure I got the address right. Just do that stuff. And so I pull it up and I'm like, first thing I see is it says Monday, November 13th. And I'm like, how in the world did I make a mistake and put Saturday, November 18th? I got nothing for you guys. I got nothing for you. I don't know why I did it, but apparently I wasn't supposed to be there. Okay. They just needed the $10 donation for the food and they were good to go. It's my fault. It's my fault, right? So I'm sitting here, and of course I'm working on crap I really don't want to be working on. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of working on the crap that I really don't want to work on. And so I decided to set up this live just to do like a work session, review some cases, because I was reviewing cases anyways. And I'm like, I'd rather be hanging out with a bunch of people, right? Instead of being here by myself at 6:30 at night, which I stopped drinking coffee at night. Okay, guys, I have officially stopped drinking coffee at night. Yes. Oh, Stony Stone. Holy crap. Well, hello there, buddy. It's been a while. I'm a little starstruck over here. What are you doing in my chat? Where are you? Well, actually, my question should be, where have you been? Where have you been? I thought you fell off like a rock or something. I thought I was going to have to send out the crew. What's shaking, Bacon? It's nice to see you, my love. Nice to see you. So as I'm research, and of course, I see all this despicable stuff. And as you guys saw, I did put a video up right before this of another despicable parent. For all those people out there, this was research I did 2 years ago. I'm going to go ahead and play this little tidbit because it is reality to this day. It's still reality. Please stay tuned.
Tom, it's just a tough subject. A recent study by Brown University showed that nearly 450 children are killed each year by their parents.
My daughters were picked up on a Friday by their father to spend the weekend, and that night he pumped carbon monoxide into their bedroom and slit their throats.
Searches have begun for 2 children killed by their mother in Pickens County.
9-year-old Hayden King was laid to rest today. Hayden's 4-year-old sister Harper will have a celebration of life service tomorrow morning.
Here's a story that's breaking at 6 o'clock. It's all centered around the 3 people you see on your screen. The key pieces in a Middletown murder case.
On the left is James Hutchinson. Police say the 6-year-old was killed allegedly by his own mother.
East Los Angeles mother was charged today with killing her 3 young children. The youngest was less than 2 months old.
At 6 with breaking news.
Good evening to you, friends. Greg Merriweather along with Elizabeth Vow. Our top story today, that precious little 2-year-old right now. 2 people are facing charges accused of murdering little Nevaeh Allen. Investigators found the 2-year-old dead in Mississippi after several days of searching.
One of those blamed in her death, the girl's mother, Lanaya Cardwell.
So I made that back when we found out Serenity McKinney was discovered, when her mom finally told law enforcement where Dakota put her. Since then, we found Harmony Montgomery. You know, there's been a lot of kids since this very video that I prepared that have lost their lives across this country. We have, you know, baby Q. I'm going to say Summer Wells because I truly believe in my heart she's not making it back. You know, this is getting very, very difficult. You know, every time we turn around, it's another kid. We're getting close to the holidays, and every holiday ends up being so bad for the young children in this country. And I'm sure not this country, you know, but this is where I live, right? I live in this country. I'm not familiar or invested in, you know, Australia or Europe. I know nothing about their economy. I know nothing about their laws. I know nothing about their crime. It's not an area that I feel comfortable discussing because I know nothing about it. But what I do know is what goes on inside this country. And we've got a problem. We've got huge problems. I was just at a baby shower, you know, and this baby shower is a miracle baby. You know, it's this child, this baby girl that's going to be coming into the world at the beginning of the year is a miracle child for this family. And they are so happy and so elated to be welcoming a baby girl. They're very, very nervous, obviously, because there's complications and whatnot, you know, just normal run-of-the-mill pregnancy complications, nothing major, but still worrisome for a new mother that knows how complicated this pregnancy is. So while we have one hand where you know that this family is going to shelter and protect this child, we have a flip side where parents don't. They look at their children differently. They don't have that parental attachment to them. They are disassociated from the fact that they're a parent and that that's their child, and they are responsible for that child, and they're responsible for clothing that child and feeding that child and taking care of that child and making sure that child is safe. There's a lot of things that are causing this problem in our country. And some of those things are the 3 the three things that we always talk about on here for despicable parents, right? And it's abuse, and it's drugs, and it's alcohol. It can be one of those things. It can be a combination of those things. It can be all three of those things. But those are the top three things that I find involved in just about every single one of our cases. Every single one of our cases has one of those factors involved in it, in many cases, and many times. There's one case that I was reading, in addition to that lady. What I was getting at is I just dropped a video right before we came live of a lady that was down on her luck. I mean, she was the baby's father, died years ago, like when that child was 1 or just a little under 1. He's 8 years old when he lost his life. So that, 7 years or so, a few years. The mom was living in her car. The son no longer went to school. And the mom planned this for 2 days. And guess where this was? You will never believe it. Hialeah. I was just in Hialeah, and I covered 2 cases. I covered the case of Derek Rosa and David and Eric. Oh, I forgot their last names. The father that shot the son. I just came back, literally just came back from Hialeah, was just there last week. And here we go again. Now we have yet another child killed in Hialeah. Well, thank you, David. I have a funny feeling you're not a David, though. I don't know why. I really don't. It's just like my Mike Stevens, my resident defense attorney in here. For whatever reason, I even though it's Big Mac Mike, right? For whatever reason, I don't think Mike's Mike. I think Mike's a Michelle. I've been telling Mike that for 2 years now, Mike? I don't know. I don't remember. But it really doesn't. You're right. The real Me Too. It doesn't stop. It seems like every day we come in here and we're tasked. I mean, literally when I do these searches, you know what? That's what we'll do. Before we get off here, somebody remind me if I am ready to close down, because it's late in the day. My brain isn't functioning. We do not have a teleprompter here, and I do not have notes. So, right? So the show is what it is. And sometimes I forget things, right? Because I'm getting old as dirt, right? I'm getting blind, right? I'm getting forgetful. I'm getting wrinkles, gray hair. My pleasure, sweetheart. Oh, Lord, you guys crack me up. You really do. And so getting back to her, she strangled her kid. And then I literally flip over to the very next thing. And I do a story on that. I can only do so many stories, right? I literally can fill up this. But what I was getting at, just remind me before we leave. I'm going to show you how many stories we have of children. This is going to make you'll understand why there's no possibility of us covering everything. It's literally all day, every day. Every 24 hours, we have a cycle of children. It's bad. It's bad. I know you guys don't do the research and you come here to see the research, right? I'm going to show you because it's bad. I don't know how else to say it. So then I'm reading about that. Oh, sorry, I put that up. Then I'm reading about that one lady and that I did the video on. And I was going to do a video on this, but since I'm going live anyways, I decided just to show you guys the title. This is the stuff that I literally read every single day. Every single day. I don't know what is going on with parents. Listen, if you can't handle children, do one of 2 things. Go get taken care of so you don't have to worry about it. Use some contraceptives or keep your freaking legs closed. And people can feel offended by me saying that, but seriously, how many more children's deaths do we really want to be covering? Like at this point, I'm ready to say, just keep your freaking legs closed. But we know that's not going to happen. So, I mean, there's got to be some responsibility. Like this dude, I hate judging people. I had a friend that was tattooed. He was a, he has kind of like a story like mine, but not, because he was much worse. He was much worse. God rest his soul. God rest his soul. My friend Nick Winterborn. Anyways, he had tattoos all up his neck. He looked like a rough guy, right? Rough guy. You would think when you see him, he is just this despicable, disgusting biker, part of a gang or a motorcycle club, just meaty, right? He was one of the most Christian people I had ever met. He had lived a crap life when he was younger. He turned his life around, but by that time he was all tattooed up, and he was just a bad dude back in the day. But he became a child of God, and so now he's got the bad bone tattoos all over him, up his neck, literally flames up his neck, like he's covered in these tattoos. And when we sit down to dinner with the family, right? First thing you do not touch your plate. You bow your heads, cross your fingers, and you say the prayer. You don't touch your food without saying the prayer in Nick's house. You just don't. This guy just looks like a rotten dude. He's just a rotten dude. And let me show you the title again, because I'm not covering this case. That, my friend, is a problem for Bullhorn Betty and the rest of the clan. That is disgusting. What in the world can a 5-year-old child seriously do? That is a man. Jesus. This man doesn't need to have children. Listen, dude, if you ever get out of prison, I don't know what you need to do, but I would not be reproducing anymore. You're not a father material. Sorry, buddy. You're just not father material. This next case, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I kind of, you know how I feel. Like this day and age, you're not getting away with murder. I truly believe that the DNA, investigative genetic genealogy, the law enforcement's getting quicker. I feel like finally, for the first time in a really long time, our science has met the needs of our law enforcement. It seems like they're for so long, for decades. We've always been behind the science when it's come to our law enforcement. And I kind of feel like, especially with this investigative genetic genealogy, I really think it has really propelled law enforcement forward. I think it's just amazing, because before we're finding, like, for example, the blood typing, the blood typing, they could tell whether you're A, B, or O. And so you've got the blood typing, and then that advanced to the DNA. And the DNA used to take so long to process. You had to have so much of the DNA. And then new technology came by, amplification, where they were able to amplify that DNA, and their need for as much DNA wasn't necessary. They could start using smaller and smaller and smaller amounts. Now the science has progressed so much that you only need literally a minute molecule to create a profile. Well, now we have a way to link profiles to people, because before it used to stop at the profile, right? So if you had a match, that was great. But if you didn't have a match, you just didn't have a match. You had the DNA there, but you had no clue who it belonged to. And you prayed that it would go into the system, this CODIS system, if you will. And over time, whenever a match came, it would notify that law enforcement. Even that system has been advanced, because there for a while, and there still are, at least to my understanding, I'm hoping at 2023, we've streamlined this process. But even like fingerprints and there are other databases out there that law enforcement didn't know about. So when they sent the fingerprints, over to the FBI or whatever, they were thinking that was everything, or in its CODA system or whatever it is, that system for the finger. Well, there's like 53 different databases at one time. Now, again, this was years ago. I don't know if they streamlined the process. I'm hoping that they did. When you're dealing with law enforcement and with all of our computer systems, and now that we have the technology we do, all that stuff should be linked. They, law enforcement should just have to go to one program, put their information in, and let it spit it out. They shouldn't have to have, a fingerprint program, a DNA. That should all be kind of in one area, where you go to one system and it has different, just like your Word program, right? You got a tab for your typing, you got a tab to insert, characters or whatever, shapes. I don't know. But anyways, I tell you that you just can't, this day and age, it's hard to commit murder and get away with it, because we're leaving our DNA everywhere. It's just sheds. This is a case in Oregon where a man shot and killed his wife, but he turned himself in. Yes, you heard me correctly. It's hard to believe, usually when situations like this happen, the person goes into panic mode and wanting to dispose of the body and wanting to try to cover up the crime, and, just digging in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then they dug themselves so deep, even when they look up, they don't even see sunlight, and this is, it kind of caught me off guard. I mean, I wasn't, when I was reading this, I figured it was going to be, something that I wasn't going to be very interested in at first, But then I was thinking about it as I'm reading it, and the guy turned himself in. I'm not lying. He turned himself. I mean, in a situation like, what do you want? What do you want, Bullhorn? I can't fault that. I mean, granted, murder is awful. Don't do it in the first place. This guy's life is ruined. He'll never get it back. But again, he turned himself in. He did the right thing after doing the wrong thing. And, I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know how to feel. I don't know how I feel about that. And I don't know, like, it almost makes it hard to analyze this case because of that. It really does. So here it is. It's out of Oregon City, Oregon. A 41-year-old man turned himself into police this week after allegedly shooting his wife in the, noggin. On Monday, November 13th, just before 1 p.m., Anthony Wessel went to Oregon City Police Department and admitted that he had fatally shot his wife inside their home at the 134th block of Squire Drive. Officers responded to the residence, where they did find his wife, Anna, deceased. She was 37 years old. There were reportedly no other people inside the home. So that's, there's no, scarred children. I don't know if they have children, but at least they didn't witness something like that. So they took him into the county jail and charged him with a second-degree murder and an unlawful use of a weapon. And he remains there without bond. But you see why I picked this case. I mean, how often do we actually get somebody? I mean, we do hear it here and there. Yeah, I get you. It's hard, but it's hard because it seems to me, because he turned himself in, that he lost his cool, obviously. A gun was, you're talking, I think about how difficult it is to shoot anybody, let alone somebody that I lay next to or like a family member, right? And I sit there and think, because we now know she was shot. what process goes into that, because that's the first thing I look at is what process goes into it. How much time was he invested in this? How angry was he? And granted, I don't know how he stores his weapons. It's, this is a very vague article. There's nothing in here, but I know for me personally, I store my weapon in a drawer somewhere in my home, and it's in a pouch zipped up. So there is a process for me to get to my gun, even in an emergency situation or where my life is in danger or somebody's breaking in my house. There is a process that I have to go through. My gun's not sitting right there for me to pick up and shoot. It's protected. It's put away. It's hidden. So there is a process. So I'm thinking about that, and I have to think most gun owners, are responsible gun owners, and so therefore they would have similar, maybe not exact, but similar placement of their personal firearm as well. So you're talking about a man that lost his cool, had to go somewhere, had to retrieve that item, and go wherever the person was, whether it was right there in front of them or in a different room, to discharge that weapon. So he did go through some processes before the discharge of this weapon. But even in all of that bad, he realized he's screwed. And that's what he is. He was screwed. And I'm sure he sat there for a good long while before he realized he just needs to go down to the sheriff's office. This is not going to end good. He was probably very remorseful, because even in a rage, even when somebody rages and they do damage, whether it's physical damage, damage with their words, we forget how powerful words are and how much damage just words or lack thereof can cause someone. So, what does it say? It is Jolly Chat. What? Three Dot's allowed to be here. You don't just have to be in Dolly's chat. It's nice to see you, Three Dot. I don't know you too well. I don't know, but I hear you talk some smack about me, though. I do hear that. But that's okay. I take you for who you are. I don't talk smack about you. I just let you know that. If I do, I say it here on the channel, right? I don't say it behind your back. Just saying. So how do you guys feel about this? Let me ask you that. Am I getting soft in my old age? I feel like I'm getting soft on this. Well, I think I'm just shocked because I'm not used to somebody saying, hey, I did it, right? I'm not used to somebody going in. It's always a tug of war with people. I didn't do it. I wasn't there. I was driving around in a car all by myself in the middle of the night when this happened in front of the house, but I didn't do it. I mean, it's good. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, listen. Did you know, and I'm sure you guys do, because I know you guys watch more YouTube than Bullhorn Betty, that's for sure. We have 5 guns within a foot of each other, one on us at any one given time. Yeah, I get it, Stony. I've got the concealed weapons permit, and I probably would too. I'm looking, to be honest with you, I think I'd like to have a 38 personally, a small little 38, because there's so many things for women these days to be packing, right? We have bras that hold it. We have purses that hold it. This stuff, you wouldn't even know we are having it, i.e. concealed, right? But I think I want a 38. Mine's a heavy, old Lorsen, 9mm Lorsen that doesned shoot straight. I can shoot it straight because it's my gun, but it doesn't shoot straight. Even you're a seasoned shooter. You're gonna have to adjust to my gun. I know once you shoot it, Stony, you'll probably have to shoot it like once or twice, and you'll already adjust to it. But it sucks. I need a new gun, one that shoots straight, right? One that shoots straight. If I'm shooting for your head and hit your butt, I'm sorry. Did I ever tell you my mom shot my dad in the butt? She did. When they were kids, She shot my dad in the butt. I heard he made her mad or something, and she pumped up that BB gun. Mama Bullhorn packing. You guys got to see my mom. She's cute as button. It's hard to believe. I swear to God, it's hard to believe. She shot him in the butt. Did you guys hear Asa? Asa Ellerup, Rex Heuermann's wife? Like, she didn't want to talk to media. She didn't want to talk to media. You know, she was begrudgingly speaking to them out in front of her house a few times when she went out there, you know, but she was very limited. I'm not sure about this, because I found out that the whole Peacock deal, you know, and this is where I have my problem. Most documentaries, and I tell you this because I've been in many documentaries, they don't pay you. They pay you for your content. So, like, say if you see a documentary and you see somebody's private content in that documentary, it's most likely that content was purchased to be put in there. And that's usually the only time you ever get any kind of money in a documentary. So I find it, well, you know, that's for people on the outside. I'm sure for that personal, you know, because this is really about them. I mean, she lived with Rex Heuermann for, you know, years, decades, right? So she's got an insight that nobody else will have, you know, like a content creator like me, you know, so it's a little different for her, for someone like her. But $1 million, a whopping $1 million. I have to be honest, that's one of the highest paid that I've personally heard. Now, I'm not saying that is the highest ever received in a situation like this, but it's the highest I've ever personally have heard about. $1 million. You know, sometimes it's 20,000, you know, 100,000, 150,000. But this was a whopping $1 million deal for Asa. And I keep looking back on it, you know, back on the whole situation. And it's like, you know, she clammed up really soon. And she filed for divorce literally only 6 days after his arrest. Only 6 days after his arrest, she filed for divorce. She has, you know, from almost the beginning, we knew that there was an attorney involved with her. So I keep wondering how long after Rex was arrested, how long did she sign this deal? Because this is a woman that said her kids were, you know, this whole thing has flipped her children's lives upside down. She's said that, you know, this media is causing such a problem in her life. I don't think BHB can be viewed as soft. I got a fake reputation to uphold. 3 Dot. Do you really want a pansy up here? 3 Dot, come on up. You know what? Let's pansy it on up. Come on up. I'm just joking. Don't be all Betty butthurt. Don't be a butthurt, Betty. I'm just joking. What am I? You know what? I am a Reese PC peanut butter cup. There you go. I'm or s'mores, right? I'm hard on the outside and ooey gooey on the inside. Shame on you for not knowing that, 3 Dot. You've been around me long enough to know. I'm ooey gooey inside. I'm ooey gooey inside. And I want to hear, what do we have here? Let me see what else we have. There we go. We're going to slap your face. Maybe we should only do it 3 times instead of 4 to match your 3 Dot. That's for you, babe. Why does it do it the 4th time. You always throw that fourth one in there, 3 dot. It won't let me do it. Let me see if I can do it just 2. Let me just see if I can just do 2. There we go. Got 3 in there. You're a buttercup. I like s'mores personally. I won't lie. I don't see that. I was just joking. I was calling you a pansy. Did that go right over your head? Oh, 3 dot. I needed that so bad. You know what? I needed that so bad. I'm going to give you the damn link. That's what I'm going to do. Because we're hanging out here anyways. Why not? Right? Why not? I still can't believe you didn't get that though. All right. I don't know if you guys heard. I'm going to be, I don't know. Wednesday, we're not going to be having a nightly show on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Oh, and that link is for 3 dot. Me and 3 dot need to get some things straightened out here. So we need to go eyeball to eyeball. Come on up there, 3 dot. Remember, I can't be taken as soft. I just can't anymore. I don't know if I'm tired. I just don't know. I don't get it. All right, 3 dot. I'll wait for you. So getting back to this one, and you know what was really funny is we've seen Asa, and she just looks, your guest 3 dot, bug, echo. Okay, it looks like we might have some problems here. It's saying your guest 3 dot is on an Android phone, which has a bug that causes echo. Google is working to fix this. For now, please ask guests to wear headphones to avoid echo or use a different browser. Did you get all that, Dave? So I don't know if you're going to be echoing or not. Hopefully not, but that's what it just gave me a notification of. All right, hold on just a second. Let me get you up here. There we go. Let me get you.
Hey, Betty.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I've been hearing that in a few lives for the past week. So I guess YouTube and Apple are getting together and you know, kind of shit talking Android. So apparently the only echo is that when the creator or someone else talks while I'm open, my mic is open, the echo exists. So I'm gonna mute every time I stop. So I'm stopping.
Gotcha. And I've heard that before. But anyways, how are you doing tonight? What do you think about this $1 million deal?
I'm not sure exactly. You know, I come in kind of cold sometimes. I kind of just come in and start chatting with your fans, you know, which I'm one of. And are
you? I didn't know that. I thought you talked shit about me.
I am totally a fan of yours. So where are you hearing that you know I'm saying stuff that might be against you somehow?
Oh, no. I actually physically saw it with my own eyes because I was in Dolly's chat and you had said some things under your breath in that chat.
So
I don't even remember what they
was
were.
It during it was during like a Turtle Island?
Yeah, maybe it could have been. It's been so long ago. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody said something like, you know, because I think that was the night that you got booted. And it was you and Stone, but not alone. And someone commented in chat going, you know what, Bullhorn Betty doesn't give a shit about any of this. I was like, but you know, she was actually in here a second ago, you know. So, I mean,
I love the concept of Turtle Island. I really do. I love that Dolly did that. That it really is a fun little thing. But I'm on a fictitious turtle and getting kicked off and having to swim with fictitious sharks in a fictitious ocean. I'm okay.
I enjoy it too. I think it's unique and inventive, and I guess this season is not just true crime. It's you know, other creators too. You know, because Stone but Not Alone is not a true crimey, you know, thing. He's more of a goofy stuff, like freaking ghosts and like aliens and shit, But yeah, I was like thinking the only thing that I've been possibly got kind of pressed on where I like discussed it is your court case, which I won't, elaborate on here, because it's probably all something you don't want to talk about. It's private. So, but I am.
Well, no, the one thing I would address about it is that I'm in a lawsuit with a person that has amnesia.
Right on. I don't follow stuff, that closely, but my opinion really was that, when you try to get somebody for like inflammatory things they say and stuff, it's a tough one to win, in my opinion.
Yeah, this one's a little different because it's not just an opinion; it's every single day for a year. I mean,
that is, I kind of look back and when this became like, when it became part of my microscope, I was like going, okay, well, let's go back in Queen Bee's past lives, and I was like going way, way back, and I was looking for titles that referred to you, or maybe I missed something, but it just didn't seem like it was day in and day out type of stuff to me.
Oh, there were. Oh, yeah. Yep. Because even the ones that were clipped or removed, I've got links to them. I've got pictures of the thumbnail. That's getting into the evidence and stuff like that. I can't really go there. So, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say about the lawsuit is I'm in a lawsuit with a person that has amnesia.
I totally get that. Yeah, no, I was on this other guy's panel, my first time being there, and I had brought up, I was like, I was kind of, he was talking about like, how that whole, people have like a saying for people that are trying to get their followers to like give them money,
Mm-hmm.
that was the subject, and I was like, what if, you had a court case and you're like instigating, influencing your chatters and the people that are watching YouTube, help fund your either your defense campaign or whatever, your court case, and this guy comes in like a friend of the creator, and he was like, oh, I knew you were going there and stuff, you're talking about this creator, the one I'm talking to. And I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was referring to Born Betty and Queen Bee, and then the dude that was trying to help out the creator is going, oh, sorry, bro, for bringing that up. I was like, so apparently you have a court case going on, or yeah, it was strange.
But, it's always strange and some change here on YouTube streets.
Yeah. So how is that? I mean, you say you're not going to talk about it, but I mean, is there going to be a finality coming up? Is there like
I hope so. I'm ready to move on. Like it should never even have came to this. It should never have come to this. But I digress. It is what it is. We're here, and it's not going to go away until it's resolved. So hopefully, we'll see what the judge has to say. That's all we can do. I feel that I'm on the right side of this. Period. And I think it's so egregious that we're here before court. So it is what it is.
Right on. But just let it be known that I am a 100% a Bullhorn Betty fan. And I've always dug you. And, I think you could probably find me saying that I think you got bigger balls than most men on YouTube. So, I mean, I'm a promoter for you, even though I might not be around and doing it like 24/7, when I do come in, I am coming in as support. So,
Oh, well, I appreciate
give me that leeway.
I'm actually not a bad person. And in person, to be honest with you, I
totally agree.
Pretty normal. I'm not crazy.
No, I dig that you're fluid and you have a cause, and a lot of people can like go to the whole, that somewhat stalking type thing where you're going to somebody's house and sitting on their front porch. I think they just fall back on the whole Gabby Petito and out there day and night with the rain falling.
Well, actually, we never do day and night. The only reason why we were out at Quentin Simon's at night is because we heard people were getting arrested out there. We're like, what? Because we're out there during the day and it's fairly calm. I mean, we're screaming at call your county commission, or something like that. Tell them you want Hadley fired, just stuff like that. But it's for all intents and purposes during the day, it was kind of calm. And I couldn't figure out how people are going to jail, because I'm like, we're not doing anything illegal. Like, why are people going to jail? So we decided, I looked at Olivia and I'm like, dude, we need to go out there at night and find out what the hell is going on. And I'm telling you, when we walked out there at night, I was like, holy shit. I won't lie. The night crew, when we saw them coming in, we started packing up and getting out. I don't know what else to say. We went out there like one night and all hell broke loose. And I'm just like, this is insane.
Yeah, that was, no matter, I think, what side you are on, like what was happening then, when you're talking about Quentin Simon, you can't say it wasn't entertaining. I thought that the YouTube true crime were really, everyone, no matter what side you were on, were watching it,
Yeah. Well, because it's a 20-month-old baby that was brutalized by his mother, and everybody. I think even if it wasn't me out there and they didn't hate me so much, everybody would have been demanding the mother be arrested. The hate on YouTube is so ridiculous that it makes people lose all common sense. It makes them lose themselves. They hate so much that it's literally becoming a disease.
I agree. I think that that there is. There's a lot of money to be made in trolling. A lot of people don't think that I think of, because I think of trolling, as like a guy coming in your chat and just be like,
gaslighting and shit like that.
Just exactly gaslighting. I think that is kind of what I perceive as trolling, and I've been like accused of going, I don't think Dave knows exactly what trolling is, because I think that a lot of people think of the trolling as like a doxing thing. I think that's where their hardcore line
Honestly, when I heard trolling, I used to mistake it with like web sleuthing. Like I'd be like, I'm in the the chat room just trolling, instead of saying strolling. I remember for the longest time I thought trolling was scrolling.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but I always thought that that the basic troll is the person that comes in and just tries to kind of talk shit and see how much they can get away with without getting booted,
Yeah.
Kind of like, when I was like early in the days with Dolly, when I was like calling every night for like 4 or 5 times a night, just gaslighting basically,
So you acknowledge that's what you were doing. I knew there was some rift between you and Dolly for something.
Oh, back in the day, it was a great back and forth. But yeah, I think that most people fall back on your Gabby Petito sitting in front of the house with the Bullhorn. I think that everyone that like wants to criticize you kind of focuses on like you were there every night, which I was watching you every night. I was seeing you there.
By 5 o'clock, I was done with my day. I'm going home. I need to get some sleep.
Like
I need to eat.
24/7, 7 days a week. At that, but hindsight.
Yep. But, you know what? And at the end of the day, it's all lawful work. And we were out there protected by law enforcement to make sure that we could do our work, just like we were protected by law enforcement in Tennessee to make sure we could do our work. These people, they need to quit making up laws and start following them like I do. They think because I have a bullhorn and I'm out there that I'm creating some type of illegal process, which couldn't be further from the truth. I'm on public property and I'm allowed to protest. I'm allowed to protest by myself. I'm allowed to protest with a group. I'm allowed to, it is literally written into our Constitution of this country.
I agree. And, the Quentin Simon thing where they actually kind of try to change laws on the fly. It's like, I'm going to put up signs that says no loitering in.
But see, the thing is with them, if I was
extremely interesting.
Yeah, the thing is with that, is if I was going to be out there any longer, I would have legally challenged that, because that was as illegal as hell. They would have been in so much trouble, because you're literally violating you're egregiously violating the First Amendment right, and you're trying to do it through sneaky tactics. And that the only problem is they don't believe people will legally challenge this. I know this because I deal with my own county meetings here, and I know the conversations that go on when we do stuff that is questionable. And it happens in every county. So that's how I knew how to handle that whole situation. I just ignored it. There's nothing they can do. It's unenforceable. They enforce it and arrest me. Now they got false arrest. Like now you're getting into where I can sue them financially. So you've got all these things. So I just ignore the sign because it's like, what are you going to do? Arrest me? Go ahead. This will never pass go, and you guys will be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle because I know the law.
I kind of thought that it did kind of put you guys off though when those signs went up, and then they had like the patrols. They put them. We were leaving the very next day when that sign was posted. We had already planned on being out of there. We had already told law enforcement we were leaving. I think that they strategically waited until we were leaving before they posted that sign. I think they were doing that honestly. Oh yeah.
For the people that are staying there after, the residents, the ones that were getting arrested, they were still there. And I think they wanted to tamper them down because they're the ones that they were arresting, not us.
Yeah, I thought that reflecting, I remember people talking about that I thought they were using some kind of like old law or something that they could.
No, they were just putting something. They just did sneaky shit. That's what they
trying
did.
To be tricky dicky. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all they did. They got it approved to do this because they knew the only way around it would be legally challenging it, and by the time you legally challenge it, it would all be resolved anyways. So they knew that. They knew that going in. I knew exactly what I've been around the block a time or two. I knew exactly what they were doing. That's why I ignored it.
I recall like this, the policeman pulling up and getting out and like, let's see your press badge, let's see your credentials, really just kind of just digging on you. You know what I mean? Just trying to just stress you out, I think was what.
But see, that's what they don't understand is it doesn't stress me out. That's the comfort of knowing the law. I mean, I don't know the law inside and out, but I know the concept of the law. I know my limitations. I know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do because I went to college and paid a lot of money to learn it. And, I just, people don't push me around. Authority doesn't bother me. When I'm looking at a law enforcement officer, I treat him with as much respect as he treats me. If he treats me like shit, I'm going to talk to him like shit, just like I do everybody else. That's just how I am. I don't treat anybody different. You come to me great, I'm cool. You come to me shitty, I'm shitty. Tomorrow you come back to me great, I'm cool.
Yeah, right on. I mean, another one about that, the Quentin Simon one where when Dolly got arrested, and you went to the booking area or something, and you're out there with the bullhorn going blah blah blah, I'm not going anywhere, and and then you went to where he got released. It was like, dude, that was pretty trippy,
I protested him out of jail. That's what I did.
You did. You stressed some people out.
That's what I did it lawfully. I did it legally, and guess what? Cops were all around us, and Bullhorn Betty never went to jail. So I'm sick and tired of people lying and saying I'm doing these illegal acts when they're not illegal acts. That is a lie.
Yeah, there was also something about the police department and the sheriff's department. They were at odds, I think. They don't love each other. There's no love lost.
There's no love whatsoever. Because let's face it, I mean, this sheriff, which seems like he's a good sheriff, is watching this Yahoo, which is a police chief, arresting people for walking on a street, but not arresting a person that murdered a 20-month-old child. I think any law enforcement agent that has a badge on their shirt, I think it pisses any of them off. I think they lose a lot of respect in say a police chief that conducts himself in that kind of manner, where I literally watched his officer arrest a boy for walking on the street, a public property. Meanwhile, the lady that brutalized a 20-month-old child gets to sleep in the comfort of her freaking bed.
Yeah, I do recall that, someone was arrested for because there's no sidewalks. They were basically saying you're in the street.
It doesn't matter when
Right.
there's no sidewalk. Your rights are to go in that street and to pass in a safe way. And there was no cars there. That officer violated that boy's rights. I paid that boy's bail money to get him out of jail.
I remember that. Yeah. Well, great combo.
Yeah. Come back anytime, babe.
For a show.
All right, kid.
Have a good one,
Take it
Betty.
easy. Bye-bye.
Peace.
3 Dot. Who knew? Actually, nice guy. So it's great talking to you, man. Great talking to you. Who was on panel? That was 3 Dot. He was on panel. So I just thought it was funny. It was kind of weird because when I saw that Peacock crew following Asa into the courtroom, one thing I noticed about Asa that she had makeup on. Out of this entire time that we have been watching this woman, when have we ever seen her put a stitch of makeup on, let alone have her hair done and look like she just didn't, it didn't seem like she really took a lot of care in her personal appearance prior to this, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be mean or rude or anything else, but I do believe that she had her hair and face done before she went, because typically women that don't wear makeup don't know how to wear makeup. That's typically why they don't wear it. They either don't know how to apply it or they don't want to apply it. They don't like it. They don't like the feel of it on their skin. I mean, there's reasons why women don't wear makeup. There's some women out there that will not walk. I remember my mother, she would not walk out of the house without a stitch of makeup on. You would never see my mother. Like, my mother was one of those women that, when you start your day, you need to get up and start your day. You make your bed, you take your shower, you fix your hair, you do your makeup, then you start your day. But you never start your day until you go through the process to start your day. That was my mom. I didn't take that because I was a tomboy, believe it or not. Many people probably don't believe it, but I was a tomboy. So I never liked makeup. My best friends were boys. I liked Tonka trucks. I liked big trucks. I liked dirt bikes. I liked mud. I liked frogs. I liked lizards. I liked working on cars. I liked doing woodworking. I liked anything but cute dresses and Barbie dolls. Okay? If it was messy, I wanted to do it. That's me. Like my bucket list item is building a, one of those old timey cars, the vintage cars, like, getting the box where you literally put the car together piece by piece. Like, that is my bucket list item. My bucket list item is not going and seeing Egypt and the jumping out of a plane. My bucket list item is putting a car together, a vintage car together, working on something with my hands, woodworking, right? I love woodworking. You wouldn't know. I'm a tomboy. That's why I do plumbing and electrical and work on my car. So Asa just kind of, gives me the vibe that she just doesn't like wearing makeup, or, she likes pulling her hair back, right? But when I noticed her at this court hearing, and I did watch her walk in, do you want dinner and a drink, leggy? Is that for me? Huh? Doing a free, what are you guys talking about? I'm so lost in chat right now. I'm coming into the middle of a conversation and somebody's talking about dinner and leggy, and somebody's talking about freaking cartwheels, and somebody else talking. I was a tomboy. Thank you, blessed mama for our blessed mom from Texas for. That's the only normal chat that I've seen in about, I don't know, handful of them. What do you guys really talk about when I'm up here talking true crime? Do I need to go back and start reading the chat? That's what I'm gonna have to start doing. I mean, you guys are giving your fingertips callous. At least I can do is read, right? You guys are wearing your fingers to the nub, down to the bone. Betty was on fire. She's awesome to witness at work. Yeah, people think you were out there. Like, what did I do so wrong? Because I told the lady I want to watch her, the last breath come out of her. I do. If they have a death penalty and she's put to death, I'd like to be there for that. Does that surprise anybody? If it surprises you, you don't know me too well. The lady brutalized her 20-month-old son. Let me put this into perspective for the people out there that don't know. She didn't just hit this kid and he just disappeared and just wound up in a garbage can. What we learned out there is she brutalized this child his whole entire 20 months. Brutalized him. Was on drugs, so much so that the state was taking the kids away that Billy Joe had to go and lie to the state and say, hey, I'll take custody of them, just to turn around and put them back into the abuser's hands. She brutalized that poor boy over and over and over again. This was for her mother not to play the tape through and to jeopardize those kids was just irresponsible. And I'm talking about Billy Joe. And you know how I feel about her. So I'm being very kind right now. Very kind. But that Leilani brutalized that child. It didn't just happen once. It didn't just happen twice. That child was being abused regularly. Up until his death. Up until that boy's death. So if anybody's going to be out there fighting for anything, that's going to be the fight that I'd like to be involved in. Just saying. Should I put my head down or should I hold my head up? Because I was out there fighting for a 20-month-old child that was brutalized by his mother. If you think I somehow ashamed of the work I did, you've got me wrong. You don't know me too well. I put everything that we do online. If I was so ashamed and embarrassed or thought I did anything wrong, why would I put it out there? Nobody exposes me. I put my own content out there. If you see it, you didn't expose me, honey. Just saying. Just saying. Put a one in the chat if you thought the work out there for Quentin Simon was good work. I mean, it did get a little rocky there, but there were other circumstances that caused it to get that way. We all saw that. It was calm, cool, and collected. We had many people out there showing great support for this child. And then, of course, you had the animals that had dropped bombs in there just for no other purpose than to drop bombs in there and disrupt something that didn't need to be disrupted just because they could. Don't you know? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I think the hate channels need to realize they're only so big. They're only so big. You can only remove so many members from somebody's. Like they're like, oh my God, she did clickbait. Yeah, I did clickbait. You should unsubscribe. Bye. I've been wanting you assholes to unsubscribe for so darn long. The problem is you cockroaches just keep running right back. You're like, oh, we dropped their numbers. Oh, but we can't stop looking at her. We have to follow her everywhere we go. We got to take notes, don't you know? We got to take notes. So here's a little something from Ashley Banfield. You know, I don't like Ashley. I'm not a fan of Ashley now. I'm just not. I'm not an Ashley Banfield fan. I don't like her. She lied about Bullhorn Betty. That's not how you become chummy with me, right? She lied about Bullhorn Betty. And not only that, she lied about me when she was sitting in front of my face, literally right across the yard, right? I remember one time I can't remember, it was either her or Como. I can't remember. They called me and asked me if I'd go on their show one night. And I said, which one is this guy? I'll go on Brian Enton if he ever calls me. He doesn't ever call me. I'll tell you that. He breaks my heart. He never calls me. But when we're out there in a political event, he needs my help. I help him. I love him. But I remember Ashley Banfield. I don't know what they don't even call me. I don't think her office or her team will ever call me again. Because I remember the last time I spoke with them, they were like, will you go on? I'm like, who's this for? And they're like, oh, Ashley Banfield. I'm like, I'm not interested. And I hung up the phone. I'm not interested. Me and Ashley, we ain't girl crushing. I can promise you that. We ain't girl crushing. And you got to look at her face going in here. She's going to kill me. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm sorry. I couldn't have picked a better stopping point for the start of this. Sorry. Excuse me. I need to get professional here. Can you believe somebody put a note on one of my comments saying I'm unprofessional? Who knew? Who knew? Really? Who knew?
We told you about a weird court hearing. It was supposed to be routine for the Long Island serial killing suspect, Rex Heuermann, but it was weird because his wife, for the first time, decided to come to a hearing. Okay, and she's struggling financially, understandable, right?
Look at her, face done, hair done.
And she was surrounded by a documentary crew. That was all strange. And we thought that would be the big headline yesterday because the hearing was boring. It was scheduling and stuff. However, inside the hearing, she locked eyes with her husband, who she's divorcing 6 days after the arrest, and a giant smile. All multiple media outlets saw this, not just our producer at News Nation. Multiple outlets all saw this giant smile that did not leave her face until the media filed out. If this is the guy she's divorcing and he's a serial killing suspect, we're trying to figure out what that was all about. Her lawyer told us last night it was nerve.
You know, I don't really know if I want to go down this rabbit hole. I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole because you know how I feel about serial killers' families. I feel that they're victims too. But, we did talk about Karen Vergata. That whole weird story that attorney John Ray came out and said about the cop and another girl and them having a swinger type of situation going on. Now, Karen Vergata is one of the girls. I think, was she Cherry? She was one of the girls that were dismembered. So I've always had this thought that, Rex was one serial killer and there was the one with Peaches and Cherry that was somebody totally different because if Rex is the type of serial killer that can go from dismemberment to posing and from posing to dismemberment, okay, then he's probably responsible for both of them, both sets of these bodies. But it's, from my understanding, these are kind of impulses and compulsion type of behaviors. So that's why I always said that it's you can see somebody that typically escalates, but you don't typically see them de-escalate. And what I mean by that is Peaches and Cherry, Karen Vergata, they were dismembered, but they went missing in the late 90s. The other girls, the actual Gilgo 4, 3 of which Rex is officially charged with their homicide. And the 4th one, they believe they're very close to charging him with the 4th, the 4 girls that were found together, which are known as the Gilgo 4. So you have the dismemberment. That's what makes me say, you'll see escalation. Like when we're talking about criminals, especially like serial killers, you hear about them being the potential, hurting the animals, and then potentially being the peeping Tom, and then the burglaries and taking, trophies or stuff such as underwear and things like that out of the house. So you have progression where you see the person's behavior escalating from this low level thing. Now they're escalated up to the full serial killer mentality. So you see that escalation. But if you have the escalation or the climax at the 90s, the late 90s, where he's now dismembering bodies, I don't see where he's going to start stepping that back to posing for bodies, a decade later. It just doesn't make sense to me when you try to apply what I know about serial killers to this situation. It almost implies there were at least 2 different people dumping bodies in that area. The one that was more sadistic, that liked the dismemberment of the dump, and the one that appeared to take a little more care, they were more of his prizes or his trophies, so to speak, because he posed them, right? He didn't injure them any further. He didn't dismember them. He when you think of it, it sounds twisted to say he murdered him, but he placed them in a caring, I don't know if he placed them in a caring position or not, but what was told to us is they appeared that they were posed or staged. So that's what I have to go on. And that came from law enforcement.
But there are 2 children who are also affected by this. Victoria is his daughter. She used to work in Rex's Manhattan architecture firm. And Chris is his son. He's been described by the neighbors as a nice guy with special needs. We do know this. They have an attorney, and he joins me now, Ves Matev. Represents
it should be interesting.
And Victoria and Christopher. Ves, thanks for being on. I really appreciate this. What is the relationship with this family, the kids and their dad, and then Azza Ellerup, the wife and her husband?
Well, thank you for having me. I just want to point out to what you said. Speaking of my clients and my clients only, their existence now is as bleak and as hard scrabble as you can imagine. There's no Mercedes, there's no luxury vehicles, there's no European clothes. In fact, one of the things that they're trying to get back, and they filed their notice of claim, are vintage jackets and clothes that they need for the winter. This is no joke. This is not hyperbole. So their lives, as I've said from day one, have been completely upended by this. Their road ahead is arduous, it is long, and no matter what happens with this case, no matter if he's acquitted, convicted on all counts, or something in between, their lives will never be the same. But for my clients, like I said, there's no Maybachs, there's none of that. There is simply putting one foot in front of the other and trying desperately to get back what was unfairly taken from them.
I believe you that they're struggling out there in that little house because he was the breadwinner, and they said all along, we don't have any income now. So the Mercedes threw us all off. So,
but my question is, I don't know how, this is where I start getting confused because I don't understand New York law, I don't know, I know Florida law. I'm learning a different state's law as we speak. So, when it comes to New York, I don't know what their, husband and wife rules are, but here in Florida, you're married, you have marital assets, you like he had a business and business assets, and that business, did it just go under when he left? I mean, I would think that they still have employees, they still have associates, they can still be keeping the same, business. Now, granted, yeah, he's now a serial killer, and that probably hurts business in its entirety, but that can be fixed easily, either by selling the business or changing the business name and just going that route. But it's just a little odd that they say they have no money. I mean, this is a man that has worked in an architectural business. He bought his home very low. He has an office in Manhattan, and they have no resources whatsoever. Now, could it be that the resources are frozen by law enforcement somehow? I mean, I guess it's possible. I don't know how. Again, this is a complex issue, and I've never researched the law around something like this. So I'm flying blind here. I really don't know. It seemed awfully premature that she immediately filed divorce, like within 6 days of his arrest, without any information about whether her husband did this or was guilty of this. And from my understanding, didn't even have much of a conversation with him potentially before making this. Didn't we hear or read an article that she had, since his arrest, never spoke to him or visited him at jail or something like that? And then now she's, going to the court hearing. But I think she's going to the court hearing because she's doing this documentary and she's got the doc crew, and it's $1 million. And she's saying she's broke. $1 million is, that's a lot of money when you've got nickels and dimes rubbing together, So I don't know. I don't know. I don't, it's just hard for me because, again, this is kind of like the situation where I say, earlier about the guy that turned himself in for murdering his wife. I kind of feel sorry for the guy. And it's like, you can't feel sorry for him, right? He murdered his wife. I get it. I kind of feel sorry for her, but did she know? You guys know that, excuse me, that BTK's, I follow BTK's daughter, okay? And she follows me. I lean on her experiences that she talks about as kind of a helpful guide in situations like this, because she's a daughter of a serial killer. So I kind of default to her because I don't have that experience. And if you're going to talk about something, you need to find out as much as you can about a particular topic from people that know. And she tells the story about her and her family never having a clue. And she's very honest about it, talking about how her father had, a short fuse. He would fly off the handle very easily, but for all intents and purposes was a good father. And, she was none the wiser that he was this bound, torture, kill, sadistic serial killer of women. And she's a female, a daughter, and had no clue. But we have, John Ray, Attorney John Ray, the attorney for Karen Vergata, as well as Shannon Gilbert's family, coming out and saying this weird story about Karen Vergata. We went over the story about Shannon Gilbert. I personally don't see where Shannon Gilbert could ever potentially, possibly, or anything be a victim of Rex Heuermann. There's just, without her literally running into him, and I mean that with every literal being of me, literally her here, him here, and as she's running, she runs into him. That is the only way that she could ever be a victim of Rex Heuermann. She was too far away. She was over 5 miles away from his home. She was just too far away. She would never have seen him. She was in a different area. It was still, near, right? It was still in the vicinity, but it was too far away. Gilbert is out. When we started talking about Karen Vergata's story, you can go back there because I did a special just on her. I said to the audience that this would be, as much as I do not believe she was killed by Rex Heuermann, my personal belief, that's my personal opinion, it still didn't matter because based upon the timeline, as I told my audience, Karen would be more in line with potentially being a victim of Rex as opposed to Shannon Gilbert. Because when you look at the timeline, this is when Karen Vergata disappeared, there was this whole love triangle going on between Rex Asa and his prior wife. He had only been married to his first wife for like 4 years or 2 years or something like that. And they were already getting a divorce. And literally like months after they got a divorce, I want to say it was like less than 6 months or something, he's marrying Asa. And right there at the beginning of him and Asa's relationship is when Karen Vergata disappeared. And on its face, it could be like, okay, Rex could have done this. And, we know how Karen Vergata ended up. She was, dismembered. So, but the timeline would work. Even with that whole swinger situation that we didn't really believe the story, even that could be possible because let's face it, when you're in a new relationship with a new guy, you typically probably, would be willing more so to come out of your comfort zone in that new relationship because you're still new. It's still fun. You still are trying to impress the person that you're around, right? Because all that giddy stuff really doesn't fall away until like you start getting into that 1.5 to 2 year mark. And so I'm, for the first little bumpy ride, I think that first bumpy, toxic area comes right about that 2 year mark. So I can kind of see that that's why I said it's possible. It's more possible for Karen Vergata than it is for Shannon Gilbert, in my opinion. Now, do I believe the story of the swinger party and Karen running out of the house naked and all this other stuff? No, I really don't believe it. I don't, because I personally don't believe Rex Heuermann killed Karen Vergata. I think it's another serial killer. As twisted and as demented as that sounds, I truly believe it's a different person altogether. But I don't know, because I've also had the theory that I thought that Craig Heuermann, Rex Heuermann's brother, a person that nobody ever looks at, I hear is like a doomsday guy, big guy, kind of like an ogre, like his brother Rex. Is it possible that he could have been the more violent serial killer out there? The fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree, so to speak. I don't know. I've had the theory. It's come across my mind. It has come across my mind. Whether Craig was younger or older, I believe he is the younger brother, but it doesn't make any consequence because it's their own. The brutality of the dismemberment was 10 years prior too. Could he have just been a twisted brother that exposed his older brother to it? I don't know. You can go down so many rabbit holes with this story. But the one that I truly do believe, and I think I get the support more of my audience with this statement, is I do believe there's more bodies out there. I believe there's more bodies on Gilgo, and I believe he has another dumping ground, because I don't believe he stopped killing. I know he didn't stop killing. I don't think he was capable of not killing. I think, I think that was his addiction. That's his heroin, right? So I don't know. I'm interested. Let's keep listening to this interview.
What's the relationship between Christopher and Victoria and their dad? Have they visited? Have they spoken to him?
They've spoken to him. They have not visited with him. That's something that may be coming down the pike. Obviously, every day, they're reevaluating what they're going to do every day as new.
But now I have to put the caveat: are they reevaluating it because $1 million is on the line? I mean, this whole $1 million thing's really gunks this whole thing up. It just stinks to high heaven. It's in poor taste, in my opinion. I try to be as fair as possible, but there's just some things that irritate me. There really is.
New information comes out in the media as the DA releases new evidence, et cetera. So it's not out of the question that they will see him at some point, but as of yet, they have not.
And what about the mom?
And as one might imagine,
Ellerup smiling, a big smile. Like, what's the relationship? She filed for divorce, but then this giant smile. What's going on between the two of them?
Yeah, that I wish I could speculate on that. I'm not going to. She has very capable attorneys. I think Mr. Macedonia was on your show last night. He commented as to that. So I'm not gonna.
And you see that picture. You see that picture here. That's kind of what she looks like. Her hair, brushed, but she doesn't take a lot of pride in her appearance. So you can imagine my shock when I saw her with makeup on and dressed in not these floppy, slouchy clothes that she's always accustomed to wearing. So, every time I hear him say stuff like, well, they're going to reevaluate it. And yeah, they talked to him on the phone, but they haven't seen him in person, but they may, well, now every time it just funkies it all up because, I'm trying not to be too harsh, but I have to be, we have to discuss the case as it is. And it just makes it difficult. Let's face it. Now we're going to be wondering, is Asa or her children doing this for the movie? Or, that's why these documentaries typically don't have, don't pay people because they want it to be real and authentic. And that's really, what it's all about. They don't want to pay for the, like they're paying for the information to say it the way you want them to say it or something like that. That's it. Just I don't know how I feel about this. I just feel like it kind of gunks it up a little bit because now everything that Asa does, every single thing we're going to be questioning is it for the is it for the documentary? Is it for the documentary? Does it? I think she does, Emma. I think she does. I heard that rumor that she does have cancer, but I don't know to what degree. And I don't know if, she's in remission or she had it. I did hear it, but it's not corroborated, I guess, unless it's in a news. I mean, we did hear it. We had to have read it somewhere because I remember hearing it. So yeah, Emma, I do believe she does have cancer. But again, I don't recall what kind of cancer or if it said it, how serious it is. Cancer's cancer, it's bad. But the good news is there's a lot of advancements as long as it's detected early. So I don't know. The fragile and naive are not swingers. The fragile and naive are not swingers, Susie Sue says. Hey, Miss Ann, nice to see you, love bug. How you been? I'm going to be in Georgia, I think, on the 5th. I think that's when Leilani's hearing is. I'll be there. So I'm trying to get everybody to know that I'm going to be there so we can meet up somewhere, have lunch or a cup of tea or something. So, Karen, I think you're behind. Just saying, I think you're a little behind. I haven't asked for a 1 in the chat in a while. You might want to fast forward. I think you might be like a half hour behind us now. I don't know. You're putting 1s in the chat. I don't know. But yeah, she might have cancer, but I really don't know. I heard it, but I don't remember if I heard it in a news article, if somebody had said that, how we learned of that. Was this a past stuff? Because I heard that in order to be like officially in remission, you have to be clear for at least 5 years, if I recall that. Emma says here, she says, my theory is part of the unaliving of these women. She knows more than what she's saying. Rex will take the whole blame because she is ill. Oh. It's possible. I mean, it seems like everybody saw this weird, smile or whatever was going on in the court between Rex and Asa. But it does, for a woman where her whole entire life is turned upside down and her husband is in jail for clearly having, whether or not he killed these escorts or not, he clearly had a huge sexual appetite. And that, it just, like me personally, I'm just going to throw this out there. I like knowing that my man is mine. I don't like knowing that, there's like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not one of those people that like to share, like, like that in and of itself for me would be like done, like turn your back, walk away, done. I wouldn't be going to court and smiling at the person that caused me this much pain. I guess is I don't know. I guess that's where I'm getting with this. Like, she's telling us, she's telling the public, she's telling the news and the Peacock how all of her life is just flipped upside down, how this has made a nightmare for her children, how the media is causing all of these problems for her and her family. And then she winds up going to court with a freaking production crew, and they're paying her $1 million. I'm like, what? And I'm not trying to be rude, but what? It's just weird. Am I the only one that feels like this is weird? Who thinks this is a bad idea? Don't parrot me. I mean, if you truly think it's a bad idea, put a 1 in the chat. If you think this is a good idea, if you think she should be doing this, put a 2 in the chat. I mean, there's no right or wrong answers. It literally is just an opinion. But I just feel like this really muddies the water, because she's telling us one thing and doing the exact opposite is what I'm kind of seeing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just don't see how you can say that media is destroying your family and causing your life to be unhinged, all the while carrying around a freaking production crew and getting $1 million. I just, yes, Bean, getting paid $1 million. Yes. Getting paid $1 million for that Peacock thing. And you know, people can say, look, anybody that makes, you know, you can get $1 million. I'm glad she's getting it. I really am. I'm glad she's getting, you know, money. I'm glad that she is getting a significant amount of money. You know, this is going to affect her the rest of her life. This is probably her last ditch effort to get her hands on some money to make her children's life better. I get it. But why now? Why now? Why right this moment? Why? Because this is where I have a problem with it. Like, we should be worrying and focusing our attention on the victims of these horrible crimes. Horrible crimes against humanity. And now we're focusing on the fact that Asa is dolling up. She's, you know, taking better care in her appearance. She's fighting with the state to get guns back so she can sell them for money and, you know, money. And it's just like, we go through all of these trials, all of these cases, and it's very seldom that we get this kind of result is I think the most concerning for me. I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to, you know, I just don't, I guess is the problem. I just don't, I believe there's a time and a place for everything. I know it's the time and the place for the production crew, because a lot of this stuff, I mean, probably part of why they're paying her so much money is because they want to get it in real time. They want these shots. They want her going into the courthouse. Those are things that you can't really replicate after the fact. So, and I know that because Olivia and I do this all over the country. So not to this degree, obviously we don't have $1 million to go follow somebody around, right? We just follow people around. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But we don't have the $1 million to do something like this, but I like the fact that she's at least getting paid for it. And I realize, I think that really is why. I think that they're paying her so much money to get this in real time. Because again, you know, walking into that courthouse, going into that courtroom, those moments, those minutes that they're asking, what are you thinking? How are you feeling? Those instant expressions, you can't recapture those authentic moments. And you know, what makes Olivia's videos so good, especially when we collaborate and go out there and search for, what makes those videos so powerful and so good is she has the ability to capture people while they're doing whatever it is they're doing. So you're not getting that act, right? The reason why that stuff out there when we're searching is authentic, it's because she's taking it in real time while we're out there doing the searches. So we're not paying attention. We're too busy, you know, looking at maps, looking at footprints, looking at, broken, trying to find which path was taken by, sometimes we're out there and the only thing that can guide us is broken grass. I mean, seriously, people don't understand that when you're searching for somebody and you got grass up to your shoulders, the only thing you can look for in a situation like that is the direction of the grass breaks. Which direction is it going? That's the way we need to go. But those moments are authentic. Like this whole thing, this is all authentic. She captured all of this while we were working. This is all authentic stuff. This is not staged production or anything like that. I'm going to show you. You'll see it. Where is it? And it's the one I show when I go through some of my outro. This is all, I'm going to show it to you right now. And this is all authentic. She just she captured it as it was actually happening. Totally different. I kind of get it, but I'm still a little weird with the whole $1 million thing. But you see what I'm talking about? She if you look at how she captured that stuff while it was going on. When I'm picturing, I got the board up and I'm taking she's capturing that. I'm not paying attention to her. I gotta be honest with you. Half of the stuff she comes back with when she puts stuff together and I see the final product, half of the shots she takes, I had no clue she was even taking them. Like I didn't even realize, like, that whole thing through Paola Miranda, me looking down at the footprint. I didn't even know she was recording. I had no clue. And you would think that, but she has her phone. It's small. We always have our phones out. She's got her camera around her neck. We don't really pay attention. We're out there doing that. So I think that that's more in line with why they have this whole $1 million things, is they need that stuff in real time. They're not going to be able to replicate it. Potentially. Possibly. I don't know.
Wager any
That's what
hyperbole on that at all.
thought.
What I can tell you, though, is again, was a very small, cohesive unit. And that still remains in large part as to my two clients. Obviously, again, no one can imagine what happens when the man that you've grown up with and is your father and has raised you is accused of these atrocious acts. And they're only allegations at this point, as we all know. But that's why I keep saying, no matter what happens next, their lives will never be the same. There is no new normal. It's just one day after the other. That's it.
Vess, you're right. They're victims, right? Your clients are victims in all of this. And I sure hope there's not.
And and that's the struggle is right there, is that we here on the Bullhorn Betty channel also feel that they're victims. But I just, to me, it just, I would have preferred that it not happen now. I just think it's just going to, I just feel like it's a distraction. I feel like it's a distraction. And now we're going to have all this stuff coming up about her smiling in the courtroom at Rex. Now it's going to cause this almost doubling, tripling effect of what they're going through right now, because people are going to start tearing them apart. It's just awful. I feel bad for them. And it's like, I feel bad for them, but it's still the whole, I'm going to have to say it, and I know it's going to be offensive, and I just can't help it, but hypocritical. That's really what it feels like. You told the world for all these months that this media is just sinking your family's boat. You just wish they would all go away. Is it because they weren't paying you? You see where I'm going? It just stinks to high heaven. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go there. I won't. But there's going to be some asshole on YouTube or on another social media platform that's going to tear this family apart because of this $1 million deal. It's just, time and place issue for me. It really is a time and place issue. But I get it. I get why the film crew is doing it because I understand why they're doing it. But it's just it's unnecessary. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know what you guys think, how you feel about it. But for those that, there it is. If you need to see it in real, hold on. I got a little bit of lag. There it goes. There it is. Receive $1 million from the Peacock documentary. And I don't think they get it until they're done with the documentary. They might have some type of, schedule that they're provided. I don't know. I don't even know that. We just got, maybe less than 30 seconds left of this. I'm just going to go ahead and play the rest of it through.
Online bullying, because that stuff happens. You got to stay in touch with us, okay? And keep us posted on how they're doing.
We certainly will, and thank you for having me on.
All right. So that was it. Thank you for having me on. So now we know that Asa is getting $1 million. The family's getting $1 million for this. And again, we don't know why Asa was smiling at Rex Heuermann in court. Apparently, it was pretty obvious, so much so that even the attorney for the kids can't comment on it because the attorney for the kids is different than the attorney Asa has for herself. And that's why he was allowing Asa and her attorneys to respond. He didn't want to get into the response. But that's really it. And I've got to be honest with you folks, I'm exhausted. I've had a very, very long day. We've done a lot of videos today. We've done a lot of lives today. I did a baby shower today, and it is 8 o'clock at night. So I think Bullhorn Betty has earned her right to let the puppies breathe. And that's exactly what I'm going to go do. So you guys have an amazing night. I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to turn on the TV, and I'm going to relax. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. Remember, you don't know what kind of day somebody's had. You could be the make or break of them. So be kind.